Hello, it's Karen again, and I wanted to show you a way of adding colour to the drawings that we did a couple of weeks ago using the marker pen, and we used bits of twig and brushes to make these drawings and so this week I'll show you the pencils and pastels in a little bit, but this is just adding colour very come a bit closer, very simply adding colour, and the same thing again, not really making a finished piece, not thinking of it in terms of a complete kind of painting, but more kind of like that sort of sketchbook idea of just having an experiment. And so these are some of my drawings that were black and white and that are now very colourful with using pencils and these pastels. So I'm just going to, there's a sort of one colour one as well, just using the pencil in different ways, and then a little bit of colour on. So very simple sketches and then very simple colour as well. So if I tilt this down like we did last time, the still life doesn't exist anymore because now there's eggs in there and different flowers, but I'm not going to, as you can see from these, they're not true to colour. They're playing with colour and just seeing what we can do with it. I've even added a bit of chalk here with some of the crayon, and so let me just show you. These pencils here are, let me put my glasses on. These are Derwent, they're ink tents, and they're water based ones, so when you use them, let me see here, when you use them like that and you add a bit of water, they stretch out, and then you can draw back in when they're wet as well, and they flow really nicely. Then I've got some ordinary pencils, some from the kids that have just left lying around, that you can't add water, I don't think, to these, but well, maybe you can, but it doesn't matter if you can't. So some just ordinary pencils, and then I've got these pastels here, these are by Karen Dash, and they're called Neo Colour, I think, and you can add water to these too. So if we put this down here, so they're very pastel-y to use as well, almost sort of like wax pastels, but you can add water to them, so they blend, and you can mix them with the pencil as well. So, and then you can also draw back into that when it's wet. So we've got, and I haven't got many colours of each, I haven't got a sort of full range of colour because I'm just trying to think, I've got a few more, but so I've got enough to sort of play with, really, for what we need. So I've got a drawing. You might be a bit of a still life, it might be something that you've collected from the garden, it could be a little vase of flowers, it doesn't really matter, but let's just get started. So I'm going to use, I think it's blue. So I'm going to use the blue pencil to begin with. I'm going to dip it in here, and I'm going to place them down on here. You can see it covering that already. So I'm going to add a bit of water to it and put a wash. You can see the wash coming around quite lends itself to going over. And then let's take a different colour. One of these, I have to just check them against. There's a darker, so I'm going to put this blue in here. So that's sort of beginning to, if I hold it up, you can just see the blue, the different blues in there. So they all start to layer up a bit. And then if I'll come around here and I'll start to just go a little bit lighter. So I change my mark making slightly. That's quite nice. So I'll leave that for now. I might wash that out here, see if I can take some of that colour. A bit more blue around here. A little bit, I'm not going to put much in here, but a little bit of yellow in here. Just to give a bit of, quite a good colour for those shadows. And we've got the masking tape there, and all of this works over the top of that masking tape trick that we used last week, the week before. You can just build up like that. I'm going to put a bit of that yellow in this jug as well here. Make it a little bit stronger. This little yellow jug features in lots of my paintings. So look, you can see I'm not that worried that I'm going over the edge, because I'll show you a little bit like we did with the ink and the chalk. You don't want to be sort of nervous of what, of mistakes. We want to sort of feel quite free about it, so we can pick up one of these pastels and we can cut back in again. Oops. I quite like that dry line there, so I'm going to keep that in. So this is just about kind of doing things, making split-second decisions, and quite like that as I like that mark there, and I like this pastel sort of dried out. I'm not going to use the watercolour for that. So it doesn't matter as well if you have, this is an unfinished drawing, like lots of them there. They're kind of just sketches to kind of get your eye in and enjoy the process. And it's the same with this colour as well. Just enjoy using it. So that's quite nice. I'm just putting a little bit of music on actually. You can shape this little jug, and then I'm going to use I'm not going to use the water up there because I like that, but I'm going to use it here just to wash this out. Quite nice. So that's given a little bit of shape and sort of definition to this. I'm going to carry on around here, and there's a kind of pale, kind of coffee coloured brown pattern around the jug. So I've got the bowl. So I've got a couple of crayons that will just about do for that. So Same thing, look, I'm not going to worry too much about the going over. I'm going to mix my colours up a bit. Because it is quite varied when you look into here. There's quite a lot of variation in shades, so they're not the right colours, but I'm still trying to sort of capture something of the variation. So I'm just showing you as well that if you go over, don't worry about that, I'll show you what to do. We've got more patterning around here, so I'm going to carry on. You don't need a lot of so let's just dab that out a bit. So I can show you with the, I've got a white pastel here, so I can either cut in around here like we did before with the chalk. You can also still use, so you can kind of come in and soften edges still with this. Come around here as well. I'll show you with the chalk as well. So you can see how the chalk, it's very successful to kind of come in and it's just a bit wet for this, but it doesn't, it still works actually. So you can see how the pattern's starting to emerge around with a little bit of colour. And that one, let's have a look. That was a bit of a doodly page and that, but here, on there, here we can do a similar thing. We can see, you can use them I want to vary the colour actually because they were all slightly different, these ranunculus. So some are darker than others. This is different paper as well, this is thinner layout paper. Let's do kind of shape, kind of, you can go over things in quite a bold way. So you can see I've sort of missed the, they go over like this. dab it off a bit and then take just a little bit of blue there. And then I can cut in like that and shape them again. I'm going to just come out and then wash this. That colour is quite nice with the, so you sort of find things out just by experimenting. That colour blue is really sweet with the little yellow daffodils. And you can blend it out so it doesn't, it's not as strong down here. But then we could shape and get rid of that. Like that we can put the yellow jug in. So you can see I'm using all the different pastels and the crayons. They all have a slightly different effect, but they're all good to use. So my yellow there. The other thing that I'm just going to show you, look here as well. So if I do come around there. So I want you to be, if you can, quite free with your painting. We'll dab that off so it just dries off a bit quicker. Because the same thing with this blue, we can then cut in. And the other thing is as well, if you want to carry on a drawing, you can still then draw on top of this. So you could start another drawing here. So you can then draw, you've got your, if we wash this out a bit. You can then, you've got the possibility of, beginning a new drawing, continuing your drawing if you feel you want to carry on the same piece of paper, or start a new piece, start with an ink or pen drawing, start with some colours, and then keep drawing and adding colour all the time. So it's a kind of constantly flowing process. So just in a very short space of time, we've added a little bit of colour to 2 drawings, and it's a little bit brighter. And those are probably more the sort of colours of the piece. But you can either do things that are sort of true to what's in front of you, or as picking up some of the colours, or just have a play and enjoy playing with colour and seeing what the materials can do. So I hope you have some fun doing that, and thank you for watching.